Hi.
Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to the weekly Shlog. And yes, this Shlog is episode number 200. 200 of these things you crazy people have been watching. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who've watched all these things, or even if you've only watched one. If you're new here, this is our weekly shop vlog where we show you all kinds of cool dirt bike stuff. And in honor of our 200th episode, and in honor of us now being a TBT suspension shop, we are going to give away to one of you, very special YouTube viewers. We're not announcing this on Facebook. We're only doing it on YouTube. We're going to give away a free suspension revalve. Now, we are going to charge you for parts, so if you need springs, seals, oil, stuff like that, but the bulk of the price is going to be free, which is $550. It's $550 value for you guys. So stick around to the end of the video if you want to find out how you can win that, because I'm not going to tell you now. That's the whole deal. I want you to watch the whole thing, or I guess like you could probably just skip to the end too. But anyway, either way, let's get after it. Alright guys, first on my list is this beautiful 2022 YZ, or maybe it's a 21, anyway, whatever, YZ250FX. We are going to make it street legal. It doesn't have anything on it, no lights, no nothing, and we're going to go forward with making this thing street legal. In the state of Colorado, all you have to have is a headlight, a taillight, a brake light, a horn, a mirror, and DOT legal tires. Like I said, this bike has none of that right now, and we're going to be going through that step by step. So join me as we make this thing street legal. All right, guys and girls, let's take a look at the parts we need to get this job done. So first off, we need a headlight. We got a tail light that also has a brake light. It's 3 wire setup. Pretty sweet deal from Acerbis. Nice low profile. Also holds a license plate there, so it's good. Then we need a brake light switch. I like these ones from K&S. They've got long leads on them, and they work pretty good. And then we need an on-off switch, so we can turn it all on and off, so we can save the battery, because we're probably gonna have to run this thing off the battery. There's no, I don't think there's like an AC circuit on these. Even if there is, I'd rather run it off the battery anyway, because then it's more consistent light. It's not flickering or anything like that. Then the only other 2 parts we need are these 2 DOT legal tires. This is going to be the one on the front. This is going to be the one we put on the back. We're going to take these really nice sharp knobbies off and put those on to get past the inspection. And then what happens after that is completely out of my hands, but my guess is the knobbies go back on. So alright, so now what we need to do is we need to start by pulling things off this bike, because we're gonna have to make a wiring loom for this whole thing, and we need access to the battery and to the frame, so we gotta get the tank out of the way, the shrouds out of the way, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna start doing that, and I'll bring you back in when we start to put things together. Alright, got everything off. Well, the tank is still sitting here, so we can just move the tank and run wires and set it back in. I'm not going to actually unhook it, but I'm going to start with the ground wire. We're going to run the ground from the battery up, and we're going to run to the front first, because we got to put the headlight up there, the switch up there, and then we can come back and run to the taillight last. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to run, we're going to do this as a switched ground. So we're going to run ground up to the switch. Then from the switch, we're going to go to the headlight. We're going to go ground to one side of the headlight, because there's 2 wires to the headlight. Then from the other side, we're going to take that is going to be the hot lead. It's going to go down, and it's going to go to the tail light, and then back to the hot side of the battery, so it all comes on at once. Like I said, I'll show you how we do it. But we're going to start right here. We got our wire. Got an eyelet. Different crimpers for this style. I thought that one would work, but it doesn't, so there we go. Alright. Now when you do this, you want to make sure you got a good mechanical connection. It's not going to come loose. Now we're going to bolt that to the battery. All right, guys, I went ahead and took the tank off because it was just being a pain. It wouldn't have been a big deal for just me to do it, but since I'm trying to show you guys, this is gonna be a lot easier. So, got our black wire to be ground. We're gonna run it. We're gonna run it up underneath here to make it look nice and clean. And then, like I said, we're gonna put the switch. We'll probably not put the switch over here. We'll probably put it over here. So I might cross over because we've already got the kill switch and the map switch here and just the start switch over there. So I think we can fit it better over on that side. All right, guys, let me bring you in and show you what we got going on so far. As you saw, we got the switch up here. That's going to be a switched ground. So we have the wires coming here. We have one wire from the switch going straight to battery ground right here. And then we have the other wire coming across, going up, and it's going to go to the headlight. There's that. So that's going to be ground for the headlight. Also, it's going to be ground for everything. You'll see. So then we've got power. That's going to be power for the headlight. It's going back down through here, and it comes to here to this junction. We have we've brought two together here. So one is that goes to the headlight. The other one is this power right here that's going to get bolted to the hot side of the battery. And those come together, going back to the red wire on our taillight, which we have mounted up. Turns out the FX actually has posts right up in here. This bolts right too. So the Cherbis taillight works really well for that. So that's going to go to the power there for main running light right there. Then this green wire is the wire for the stop light. So that's the brake light. So it's going to come up here, and we've split off of the power wires again right here. We're going to take power, go down to the brake switch, come back up. So when you hit it, it'll supply power directly to this. We're going to have this wire go to the brake switch. We're going to take another green wire, come back up, and go to here. Now, that all should make this all work. It's all kind of crazy, I get it. But, yeah, I think it's all going to be really cool, and it's going to work great. So, we just have to see, actually, excuse me, what we're going to do with this ground is we're going to tie it to the handlebar switch so that everything comes on all at once and everything goes off all at once. So, I'm going to keep going. When I get it all dialed in, I'll show you exactly how it works. Alright guys, so we got everything wired up. Looks pretty good. Got a couple more zip ties to clip off, but relatively clean right here as well as I could. Got these wires all tucked in. I got actual tape wrapped around all these. I left these exposed. Ooh. Hey, focus. There we go. I left these right here exposed so we could tell which ones they are. I may wrap those later, I'm not sure. Got the headlight all dialed in. I think everything should be go. Let's see if we work from here. Boom. All right. Headlight comes on. Let's see. We got a tail light. And let's see if we get a brake light when we hit the brake. Nice. Pretty happy with that. Ran the brake light wires. You can see. You can kind of see I put the switch here, ran them up, kept them underneath the frame guard, up through here, had a little extra, bundled that up, so I think we're good. Now we need to test the charging system, so I'm going to set the tank on it, grab our meter, and make sure that while it's running, it's actually charging the battery while the lights are on. Alright guys, we got her on. Best way to check this is with the voltmeter set to DC volts. I'm going to put our leads on the battery here. Alright guys, so at idle, lights off, 13.3. Turn lights on. Lights on, 13.1, 13.09, 13.05, so that's awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. At idle, lights burning, it's charging the battery no problem. I figured it would. It's an LED rear light and a really low wattage halogen up front. Now, we could have put a super bright light up front, and because I actually know that this works because we have another 250FX out front actually it's just a YZ. It's not even an FX. It's just a 250F that we put a big Baja Designs light on. So, and it works just fine. It charges it just fine with that on there. It's an LED, obviously, so it doesn't draw super hard, and it's not the brightest one, but it works great. So, yeah, now we got to button this thing up, then go to putting the tires on it, and then we got a horn and a mirror for it, and he's going to get it inspected. I'll check in when we get it all done, show you what it looks like. All right, guys, we got the YZ250FX all ready and to rock and roll. We got our street legal. We got DOT tires, front and rear, PKC 80, and some Kenda thing on the back. We got our lights working, tail lights working. You guys already saw that. We got a horn now. There we go, and we got a mirror, and that is all you need in this state. You don't need high-low, you don't need a speedometer, you don't need blinkers, none of that. Just got to have taillight, brake light, headlight, horn, mirror, and DOT tires. So now this thing's ready to go, get inspected, and yeah, he can have a license plate on it and go wherever he wants to go. Pretty awesome. All right, guys, next on the lift is this 2020 YZ250F. This is the one I was talking about before when I was doing the headlight on the other YZ250FX. We put a Squadron Sport on, it runs it just fine, no problem. But today with this, we are doing a valve adjustment and oil change. So I'm going to go in depth on that valve adjustment for you guys. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hunt that thing down, because we're going to go dive deep into this and show you guys how to take care of that on your own. Yeah, and on the Shlog, I'll fill you in on the highlights. Alright guys, so we got the tank off and out of the way, seat out of the way. That's kind of an interesting thing, actually. Dumb thing. Anyway, getting the tank off is a bit of a situation. This is the connector, and you have to make this red thing go that way before you can squeeze on that little black thing in there. And the way to do that is you have to undo this clamp that goes around everything that holds this down like that. So if you guys are doing this and you're messing with it, first of all, don't force anything because it's all plastic. It'll really be really easy to break. Second of all, take that little black oval thing off first, then raise the red thing, and then squeeze the little things. And I use these pliers. They're really cool to get in there and squeeze the little black buttons, and it comes right off. All right, so now got this out of the way. Now we're going to take the valve cover off, and we'll look in there and see what we got. There we go, perfect. So you can see it. So you want that little mark pointing right at this mark, and then we're going to come up here. So there's a little dot. You can see right there. It's right here. If you look, so that needs to mark up and line up at the head, and then one over here on the intake. See how that lines up right there. So now you know for 100% that it's lined up at top dead center and that the cams are correct. Again, all right, guys. Next job is this DRZ400. We installed a Electron on it last year, I think it was. Anyway, runs fine and all that, whatever. But it has developed a weird problem. That when it's running and you twist the throttle, it's sticky. Like there's a little stick at the bottom. And you open it up and it goes. And I thought, okay, well, it could be up in the housing or something like that. You know, maybe the cable, whatever. I'll take that apart. Because it was running when I was, yeah. Well, I stopped the bike and I twist it now, and it's perfect. So, hang on, someone just walked in. All right, sorry, guy came in. Anyway, so like I said, when you twist it when it's off, it's perfect. There's no hesitation at all. So all I can figure is that the suction of the motor is pulling on the slide and it's causing it to not go well, which is interesting because it shouldn't do that. And I think this is leading into another reason I don't love Electrons. It's that slide. Like my buddy Foxy Bibbs' slide kept sticking wide open when we were in the snow and ice. I think it's because the slide isn't chrome plated like on a Kian or Mikuni, so it can build up ice easier. And I think in this situation, it's the old zinc one, and I think it's pulling and it's just not smooth. So let's take this thing apart and take a look and see what that slide looks like. All right, guys, let's take a look here. So there is the slide. You can see all kinds of funky wear. So this is the side towards the airbox. This is the side towards the motor. Obviously this is getting pulled this way by vacuum, and you can see it's really kind of worn out and messed up and kind of dirty. I don't know. I'm gonna try cleaning it really well and putting it back together. It's hard to see inside there. Inside looks okay. I'm gonna get a light and take a look, but I don't like these zinc slides because of just that. First of all, they wear, and then also they are not smooth. They're not like you know, the chrome plated ones in the Kian or Mikuni that stay, they're chrome, so they, I don't know, they're super hard. They don't ever change. Anyway, we'll clean it up really good, and then let's see what happens with that. We'll clean it up, fire the thing up, and see what happens. All right, we got her cleaned up. I took some emery cloth to it and tried to just smooth everything out. You can still see that this down here has a little extra wear on it, but that's okay. I just don't want anything hanging up, so I feel like it's pretty good. Got this side a little bit, you know, as much as I wanted to. I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to make it rattle around. So now we're gonna put this thing back together. All right, guys, gotta run it. Let's see how it feels. Still not perfect, but it snaps back closed. And if you're at an idle and you roll into it, it's okay, but it's when it's up, you come off and go back on. So, sadly, I think it's just because that slide is not very slippery, and when you roll into it and it draws a lot of vacuum, there's a lot of signal on that carburetor, it pulls hard on it, you go back close and come back open, they're still pulling really hard on it. That's when it does it. So interesting, but I've never had a Kian or a Mikuni do that. So I'll give this guy a call and see what he wants to do. I don't know if he wants to fiddle with it more or just run it, because probably be okay. It might get better as it wears. I don't know. Anyway, well, I'll check in with you guys and let you know what happens. Alright guys, so I just talked to the owner of this bike, and he has experienced all the same things we are. He just was hoping that maybe I would have a better answer. I don't. By sanding that slide down and all that, it just didn't fix it. So he's actually just going to put the stock carburetor back on it, because this really sucks. I guess he found some forums that other people had the same problems, and they had not been able to sort it out other than like raising the idle way up, which holds the slide open, the vacuum, anyway, whatever. So he's done. We're going to put the stock carburetor back on, so stay tuned here on the channel, because that'll be coming up soon. Hopefully he's going to bring that down. We got to get a cable, so won't be on this Shlog, maybe the next one. But, all right guys, Zach is working on a KX carburetor situation, and he took everything off to get the carburetor and took a quick look at the shock, and it does that. In case you're new to dirt bikes or motorcycles in general, that is not supposed to happen. I'm sure under its own weight, it tensions that up enough to like maybe not rattle, but I can only fathom that while it's going down the trail, jumps, bumps, whatever, is going making all kinds of noise. But funny, that is not why it came in. Did not have any mention of really, really, really loud rear end on the work order. But yeah, Zach's going to be fiddling with the carburetor, which also, oh, never mind. It looks okay. I was worried. I thought I saw dirt in there, but I think it's okay. So he's going to do with that. It'll be all good to go, but that's a little something. Really, actually, that is a good thing for if you're looking to buy a dirt bike, especially now. Used dirt bike prices have gone through the roof, and people are paying way too much and getting way too much, I think, for their used dirt bikes personally. But if you're buying a bike, I highly recommend taking a stand, putting the thing on a stand so you can roll the wheels free, check the wheel bearings, check things like that. Make sure the shock isn't, you know, spring isn't completely released. Little things like that. But having a stand, even if it's just like a milk crate style one, is a good idea when you go look at a bike. Right on, guys. So as promised, I said I was going to give away a free revalve here on this Shlog. So it's not actually going to go out because I don't know who I'm going to give it to yet. But here is how you can win a free revalve. So Zach and I have been thinking, look at him over there, just slaving away. Yeah. We've been discussing what we want to do to give away a free revalve, and thought. Here's the thing. Here's what I want you guys to do. If you're interested in getting that free revalve, which is, the free part is all the labor and shims. We will be having whoever wins pay for oil, seals, bushings, and springs, or any other parts. If you, I don't know, if you want to do a spring kit and air forks or things like that, all the parts will have to be paid for. But the $550 revalve charge is free. So here's the way it's going to work. If you want to enter, you want to send me an email to morgan@highland-cycles.com. Send an email to that with a story, paragraph, explanation, I don't know, however you want to put it, of why you think you need to have better suspension on your motorcycle. I don't care if it's, I like to go racing and I want to win the B class, I crashed really hard and I feel like I could have saved it if I'd had better suspension, whatever. Tell me an awesome story. Humor counts for a lot. And Zach and I will read them and we will make the decision as to who wins. So it is completely subjective, just like the Olympics. It's a judged event here. And Zach and I will judge you personally as to whether or not we think you deserve a free revalve. But please, please, please enter. We will choose someone. We will announce it on next week's Shlog. We'll let you know. We'll also contact the person directly. And like I said, we will do a full super rad TBT revalve on your bike. So that's how you enter. Please make sure you do. Last job of the Shlog for me is lowering this Husqvarna FE 250. No big deal. We're just putting a Duval lowering link and we're going to raise the forks up as far as we can. But I figure let's see exactly how far it lowers it. Because I've never actually done that, like measured things. So I'll grab my tape measure. We're going to find out exactly what the seat height is right now. Put all the stuff on and we'll check the seat height. And then that'll be the last thing for the Shlog. Alright, just going down to the flat here and just eyeballing. Go right in front of the foot peg, so we're trying to get it as straight up and down as possible. Looks like 37.5 is about where we're at. So with the magic of television, we're going to go ahead and lower it. Boom! There we go. Got her lowered. Let's see what the height is now. Alright, so it's right about 36.5. That's just sitting here, so I think once the customer sits on it and gets the sag right, we should be good. Probably about 1.5 inches all told, like effective lowering. So hopefully that will give this gentleman a flatter foot on the ground, therefore more confidence. I'm not a huge fan of lowering bikes too much because it really affects the geometry of the bike and the suspension and all that stuff. But with a lowering link and just raising the forks, it's not that bad. Let me show you. Oh God!